Thanks for your support as a channel member, Rob Pontin. Oh, boys and girls, we have something of a problem here at Barnsley. We have had a terrible start to the season, and now we've got no defenders. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have games in the Championship against Reading and QPR. Since you were last with me, though, it's all gone badly wrong. Where were we? I think the last thing you saw was the Kings Lynn and Fulham games. Since then, we did manage a little unbeaten run in the league, a draw and a win against Swansea, and then it just all went wrong. Lost to Wolves, lost to Hull, lost to Bristol City, lost to Villa, panicked, played 2 friendlies to try and get some confidence back, and it did. We won a game against Blackburn, but it hasn't really helped our league position. After 12 games, we're down in 19th place, barely meeting the Kev ratio, 12 points from those first 12 games. Already 10 points away from the playoffs, which we were kind of tentatively looking at earlier, pre-season. Only 3 points clear of the relegation zone. And if we go and have a look at the club vision, you can see the board are disappointed with the current league position. And although they were not too upset with some of the earlier dodgy results we had, we bottomed out here with the defeat against, who was that against? Whose badge is that? I don't even know. Hull! There we go, when we lost against Hull. And who's that? I should learn teams. Bristol City. Yeah, they didn't like the defeats against both of those. We are starting to recover a little bit. So in ordinary circumstances, we'd say, we've turned the corner. It's fine. We're on our way back up again. But the only problem is, if we have a look at the squad screen and our injuries and suspensions, you'll see that our entire back four plus first reserve are all either injured or suspended. Jaden Brown, injured. He's going to be out for 2 to 5 weeks. Livramento and Stevens and Livramento, injured as well. He's going to be out for another 3 weeks. Stevens and Diaby, our centre-back partnership, both suspended. Ekwa Alimbi, who's our backup centre-back, he's injured. He's going to be out for another week or so. All of which means we have the most makeshift defence in the history of the world to play against a Reading team that are top of the league. This isn't going to end well for us today. I'm having to play a 17-year-old who's only got 1-star current ability and 2.5-star potential. He's making his debut for us today because we don't have any other centre-backs. We've got Sam Karadzi, who we signed in the summer, who is a current Georgian international that has never played a game of professional football at league level, either for Tottenham or us. So that's nice. Hopefully, he has got lots of potential. Hopefully this is going to be his coming of age day and it's going to be the greatest performance you'll have ever seen by a footballer. He's 6'5", so he must be good. But I am terrified at the prospect of having Theo, not Andy Duncan. Just done a quick Google to try and work out who Andy Duncan is. The nearest I can get is the CEO of Travelopia Holdings Limited, based in Crawley. I don't know where I've plucked that name from. But, yeah, what was I saying? Theo Duncan. Terrified at the prospect of having him in this team. Oh, this isn't going to end well for us. It all goes back to that summer, which just didn't go to plan. We couldn't bring in the players that we wanted. I was saying all summer I wanted a 4th centre-back, and we could just never find one. All those times I looked at, what's-his-face, at Posh, and just kept saying, yeah, but he's not good enough, is he? I'd love to have him here today. I'd pay £1 million to have him in my team today. But alas, I did not. So we're going with Hilson in goal, a back four of Burke, Sam Karadzi, Duncan and Williams, McGeehan and Rimanotto in midfield, Chong, Beera and Brown behind Hornby up front. This whole area of the pitch is fine. Fullback's fine. Goalkeeper, fine. What are the chances of both of these two being suspended for the same game while their backup is injured? And he's only out for a week. It's three things that basically can affect one match, all happening at the same time. When it rains, it pours in Football Manager, boys and girls. When you're in bad form, the game makes sure you blooming well stay in bad form. let's, I don't know what I can say. We owe Reading after the last match. I mean, that's the best we can hope for. They're in great form. They're top of the league. They're very likely to beat us. And we have, I don't even want to say a makeshift defence, a made-up defence. No one believes Theo Duncan exists because until this moment, none of us, me included, had ever heard of him. I had to go looking, I had to go rummaging down the back of the sofa to see if we had any big lads who looked like they could play centre-back. I was tempted to play Hornby there, but I thought that would be admitting defeat. In real life, that's probably what I would do. Stick Hornby back there because he's a big lad. He could play alongside Sam Karadzi and stick Brivio in up front. But Football Manager doesn't quite work like real life, and being a big lad up front doesn't necessarily translate to being a big lad at the back the way it does sometimes in real life. Brown plays it back to McGeehan to Rimanotter and Beera. Back to McGeehan again. Williams, if we can score here, that would be sensational. But Williams can't even get the cross in. And now Reading, they can take their time because they know as soon as they do hit the ball forward, there's very little resistance in their way. Here is Duncan. Oh! Nightmare moment number one. And he got away with it. Now, that could go one of two ways. It could be a nerve settler because he's now got it out of his system. Or it could be he's done now. He's terrified. He's made a terrible mistake. We've conceded a goal. It wasn't Duncan's fault, thankfully. It was just an excellent free kick. And if we're beaten by an excellent free kick, I can live with that. But what I don't need is my 17-year-old debutant centre-back crumbling under the pressure. He's composed still at the moment. So thankfully, it doesn't look like he's crumbling. Less positively, we're down to 21st place, 20th place now. Either way, I've got to be fairly close to the famous called into the board and told to win 4 of the next 5 matches kind of situation. I can sense it coming because I guess the one thing in my favour is the previous manager got 3 years and wasn't sacked until January. So they're a board that has a reputation for being quite patient. But how patient can they be? They're uninterested because there's no sport in it. Scoring goals against a bunch of kids, there's no fun there. Beera now with the free kick. Jacob Brown has scored. It's his 6th goal of the season and it's 1-1. And all of a sudden, imagine the confidence boost we'd get if we managed to get a result out of this game. Even if we managed to draw. A draw against top of the table Reading would be a great result with a full strength team. If we can somehow manage a draw with this defence, I'm going to take that as a huge moral victory, and hopefully that will be a way to really spur us on for the rest of the season. But it just seems so unlikely because they're in again here. There is literally no defenders anywhere near their striker. I don't know where either of them were. I don't even want to see. I don't want to know from the replay where they were. I don't want to know what they were up to. Here they are, look. They're both standing looking at him. Phenomenal. Absolutely wonderful stuff from the 2 centre-backs. Strangely, Duncan, not having a very good game. Who'd have thought? Who would have actually thought? Right, assertively, time for everyone to dig in. It is time for everyone to dig in. Is it sensible to go to just a back 3 and take Duncan off? Beera now with the free kick. It's not Hornby, it's Sam Karadzi. I'm criticising the defenders and Mr. 6'5". I'm getting Husek memories from Forest Green last year. A 6'5" centre-back who's not as good as the other players at the team might be a handy thing to have if we're in a relegation battle because of the absolute huge benefits you get from free kicks, from having a giant who can get on the end of them. It's 2-2, and that is some food for thought. He's now goes into my good books. Duncan, less so. But it is 2-2 with 25 minutes left. They're apprehensive and nervous. We've got Reading on the ropes here. They know what they're playing against. They know they should be romping away with this, and they're not. And I hope they're starting to panic a little bit because of it. Right, I'm going to bring Wilkes on that left wing. There's no defenders. It's just midfielders on the bench. That's all we've got. That and Brivio, who's going to come on up front because Hornby hasn't been there all day. Let's ask for some creativity. We're up to 17th as things stand, which is awesome. And we are on the attack again here. McGeehan plays it into Beera. Williams with the cross, looking for Brivio. It can't quite get all the way across to him. McGeehan, though, is trying to get something going again. Plays it out to Williams. There are men lined up in the middle. If Williams can get a crossover this time, he does. Wilkes is fouled. We've got a penalty. We have the opportunity to go ahead in this game. I don't know who is taking the penalty. Is that McGeehan? I think that's... Is he number 8? I think he is. It is McGeehan. To make it 3-2 to Barnsley. And, of course, he doesn't... But the follow-up! He scored the blooming follow-up! When does that happen in Football Manager? It comes back off the post. McGeehan tucks it away. Is that allowed? Doesn't someone else have to touch it first? Oh, no, the goalkeeper did. And I might be making that up anyway. But the goalkeeper did touch it. McGeehan puts us 3-2 up. And, oh, my word, what on earth do we do now? We have been training a counter-attacking system. But our defensive midfielder is injured. Because he would be playing centre-back today if he was fit. But I am thinking we drop back to this. We take off Beera. We bring on Mowat. Mowat can play back there at a push, I'm sure. Brivio cannot play as a complete forward the way Hornby can. We did play this a couple of times in matches, which is why it's got some personalised positions and things on there. I mean, this is a big call. But we've got to protect the young defence. We are doing... I'm going to drop praise. I don't usually drop praise when we're only 1 goal up, but it's such an extraordinary performance. They deserve the praise at the moment, and a draw would still be fine. McGeehan, he's looking for another one. He's running down that wing like he's an actual winger. Williams now. Where is our winger, by the way? We do have a right winger in the team. He's nowhere near the right wing at the moment. No idea where he's gone. Mowat now. Why is he that far forward? You should be protecting the defenders, you numbskull. Get back there. Give the ball to somebody else and run back that way. There's Brown. Brown's turned up now. McGeehan plays it into Brown. This is some lovely football. Williams now. We've got Brivio in the middle. We've got Wilkes in the middle. Williams beats his man Brown to Brivio. Oh, very nearly made it 4, which would have been ridiculous. We've had 35 shots today. We've played very well. I don't understand. Perhaps this is our new centre-back partnership. We've just beaten top of the league Reading, spinning off the back of terrible form with a makeshift team. I don't often do a passionately, you've done brilliantly, but that is going to go down as one of our finest performances. If I end up not getting sacked now by Barnsley, if this turns into a decent season, that right there, that is your turning point, boys and girls. Very happy with that result. Remember the whole it never rains, it pours thing. Oh, my word. I guess with the Diaby injury, it gives Sam Karadzi the chance to stay in the team and just score a goal a game from corners. So he does keep his place. Stevens does come back in alongside him, so we don't have to put up with the Duncan problem again in this episode. And as usual, I've swapped Mowat for McGeehan because I just swapped the two of them over every match. People say, why don't I play the two of them together? That's why, mainly. No other reason than that. And to be fair, there used to be a dotted line between these two, but they've now played together well enough for long enough for there not to be. So I guess I could just play them together and they'd get themselves out of their pickle, but I signed Rimanotta and he will become a good player for us if it kills me, even though I substitute him every single game because he's not playing well. Right. What can we say? Assertively, no, I don't want to assertively say enjoy the match. Great opportunity to show the critics that they're wrong. Go out there and show them what you're made of. Exactly. Let's build a siege mentality here at Barnsley. That's what we've got to do. I thought I'd accidentally picked Ben Cottrell in the team for a minute there, but he's not. He's down on the bench. When the defender thing first became an issue, I hit Quick Pick to see what Quick Pick would do, and Quick Pick didn't put Duncan in the team. It put Ben Cottrell in at centre-back. I overruled that decision, but it does seem to be picking him on the bench to be like the substitute centre-back if we have a problem. So I don't know. I haven't even looked if he can play there. Probably should have done, but the fact he's a winger tells me not natural. In fact, should we have a look? Ben Cottrell. Oh, he can play everywhere. That's why. He's a makeshift centre-back. He's 5'6", boys and girls. I think I made the right call playing the 17-year-old in his place. I don't know how. I don't know how he can be recorded as being able to play everywhere. that feels like a database thing that needs to be fixed. Because I'd love to see him play at centre-back, just not for me. If anyone wants to take him on loan and play him as centre-back against me, I'm all for it. Or to be fair, take him permanently. He's very unlikely to ever get in my team with the riches that we've got in all of the positions that he can actually play. Williams now playing it forward, looking for Hornby, who's nowhere near it. I don't know who's at fault there, whether the pass is poor or Hornby's positioning is off. But either way, that was awful. And it's put us straight back under pressure. QPR. Oh, that was my Fen accent came out a little bit there. Don't do that on YouTube, Kev. QPR breaking, but luckily almost as bad as we are. Rimanotto with the cross. Hornby's there and heads wide. Hornby has been really poor pretty much every match since that hat-trick he scored, and we thought he was going to be I thought he was going to be a hero. He's been very, very inconsistent since then. And when we've got Chong as well, who's also very inconsistent, it does lead to very inconsistent goal-scoring prowess. Chong now with the cross, looking for Hornby. It ends up back with Chong again, who's kept hold of the ball well, but Hornby can't turn it goalwards. Beera plays it back to Burke, who apparently didn't do enough with it to justify us seeing what he did. The QPR defenders are all getting frustrated, which I can understand, really. They've done quite a good job so far. Williams with the cross, and it's a poor header. I think that was Beera. I can't be absolutely certain who that cross was. And that was a weird throw that actually did end up going where it's supposed to. But it looked like he threw it from behind him, just sort of looped it up in the air, which seems like an unnecessarily extravagant way to throw a football. There is some terrible defending there. Sam Karadzi's got to take the blame for that. He did not know what was going on. 6'5", and rather than just heading the ball clear, he kept backing off, let it bounce in front of him, spun around looking for it. Just head the thing 40 yards, for goodness sake. You're 6'5". Beera now with the break. He has got, is that Hornby ahead of him on the left-hand side? That is a bit of a terrible challenge. It felt red cardy to me. It's like knee high. I don't think he even got booked. Mowat now. Crossing towards Chong. It doesn't make it to him. And once again, QPR with the opportunity to break. And I'm a little bit worried because our defence is still looking a little bit ropey, a little bit thrown together. Williams does manage to clear, but we are giving QPR a lot of chances. They are roughly where we are in the league. We're both struggling a little bit in the first third of this season, but they're getting more of the chances today. But there's Rimanotto, and he can't turn it towards goal. But it's 3-2 to QPR on clear-cut chances, 2-1 to them on half chances. We're just about edging possession, but that's about the only stat we're ahead on, and we need to improve. We played so well against Reading, and it's just not been the same performance here against QPR. Chong's been fouled there. Is it a penalty? It looked like it might have been outside of the area. It has been given as a penalty. I'm absolutely not going to complain about that. And I think it said Brown is stepping up to take it. Here is Brown, and he scores. And it's QPR 0, Barnsley 1. Little bit against the run of play, although to be fair, that penalty did count as our third clear-cut chance. So I'm going to say it's not against the run of play. We deserved every bit of that goal. QPR maybe should have done a little bit better with the opportunities that they've had so far. But that is... I mean, if we can hold on to this, if we can make it 3 wins in a row in the league, that is a huge step forward from where we were in our miserable run of form, where I am genuinely still a little bit worried that I might get sacked. After things started so well here at Barnsley, that summer will go down in history as one of the worst that I've ever had, just because I couldn't find any players. I think we need an overhaul of our scouting setup if I survive in the job. And we definitely need to be bringing some new faces in January. And I'll hold my hands up. I haven't started looking for him yet because I'm too busy trying to fix the problems that we've got with the current squad. So what I need to do is win some matches and make sure I'm still in a job in January, while simultaneously getting some proper scouting done in the background, because I think it is pretty clear we just need some new faces. We definitely need another centre-back. We can't get by with just 2 proper first-team centre-backs in the squad. And a couple of one untried youngster as a backup. That doesn't work at all. So we need another centre back. I wonder if we still need a proper striker, maybe a taller goalkeeper. There are certainly things we could do to improve the squad. I don't think I would be happy to sell Chong at this point. because I think he is too inconsistent and doesn't fit. He's never going to get in on the right-hand side ahead of Brown, and he's not effective enough on the left-hand side, and he's too inconsistent. So if we can get anywhere near Chong's value, that's like 10 million quid. We could then buy a proper left winger. Williams is in. That being said, about proper left winger, I spent all summer trying to sign a proper left winger. I had £10 million to spend, or £5 million to spend, or whatever it was. And the best we could come up with was Harry Chapman, who was okay in the division below. I couldn't find anyone. Oh, my word. Mowat, back to Sam Karadzi. I don't necessarily want him crossing. He should be getting on the end of crosses. And QPR, again, have a little bit of a break on here. Sam Karadzi has made his way back quite well, and not well enough to get the tackle in. But luckily, Hilson keeps hold of it really rather nicely. Oh, bear with me a moment. The bin men have arrived. Panic over. I think they've gone past that. It wasn't panic, but, you know, noise. I don't even know if the microphone picks it up. I should probably check that at some point. But I always like to pause when they're here, just to be polite. It's partly I don't want you to hear them, and partly I don't want them to hear me. There's only a garage door between me and them, and it's just going to sound a little bit weird, isn't it? There's that weird guy who sits in his garage commentating on football game. He's playing a football game and commentating on it as if people are listening. What a weirdo. I guarantee that's what they're thinking. Right, Hornby has been terrible today, so Brivio. I think Brivio, it might be time to give Brivio a run in the team, because Hornby is just... ugh. And Chong is the same. The pair of them are just annoying me with how they're so good, but they're so frustratingly inconsistent. And to be fair to them, I don't think the system we play suits either of them. Hornby wants to be a target man. Chong wants to be an inside forward on the other side. And it just, they were good players that we signed because we needed quality. But if I was building this team again, I don't know that I'd sign either of them, because I certainly don't think we needed Chong. I think we're very overloaded with wingers in the squad now. I signed him because I'd heard of him and I thought it was a big name, confidence boosting signing. And to be fair, he came in and performed very well last season. And Hornby was just the best of a pretty poor bunch of strikers that were available. But I think Brivio is closer to what I see as a striker. So it might be time to put my faith in him a little bit. But I spent a lot of money on both of them, and the board are going to want me to sell them on for a profit, so I can't just drop them. Rimanotta, while we're talking of transfers that maybe didn't quite work. We're not going to include him in that number. He plays every game. He must be good. Sam Karadzi, dominant in the air again, and it ends up leading to a shot from Wilkes from the edge of the area. I would really, really like a second goal fairly soon, please, because it is a little bit worrying just how much of the game QPR are still getting. It's very, very end-to-end stuff. This is going to be their fifth clear-cut chance of the game. Oh. We're very lucky that they're in such poor form, just as we seem to be starting to turn things around. Sam Karadzi could do with coming off. We don't have anyone who can come on for him. We could bring on Cottrell to play there. Seems like a bad idea, though, so let's do the usual. Bring McGeehan on in midfield to play alongside Mowat. I'm thinking if they play often enough together for the last 15, 20 minutes of matches, surely that'll prove to the world that they can play together. And they are both good players, so it's nice to be able to bring on a little bit of quality towards the end of a match. Right, here is Burke on the left-hand side. McGeehan over the top for Brivio. That's a wonderful pass. Brivio is in and should have scored. It's now 6-5 to us for clear-cut chances. 4-3 to them for half chances, and I think it's pretty clear why both of us are struggling down in the bottom half of the table, because neither of us can actually convert chances. It's ridiculous. Burke with a huge goal line clearance in the final seconds of the game. Brivio turns brilliantly from it as well. This is awesome from Brivio. If he scores here, he does. That is what you call a counter-attack. I mean, the clearance off the line from Burke was excellent, but the fact that the clearance Brivio turned it into a through ball. This is brilliant from Brivio there. Back to goal, spins his man, and then runs from his own half, and then applies the finish as well with a little bit of help from the deflection from the goalkeeper. But you don't see Fraser Hornby do that. I think my mind is made up that we need to go with Brivio as our striker for a little while, because that was awesome. What is also awesome is that we're now up to 15th place in the league. Are the board still grumpy with me? No. Problem solved in one episode. Excellent stuff. Right, the next time you are with me, where are we? Still midweek, it's fine. So we're probably going to come back around here, by which point I would like to have formed a plan for what I'm going to be doing in January. We have still £4.5 million to spend, loads of spare wage budget as well. Lots of players we could. This is how little I'm paying attention to scout reports at the moment. I just haven't been touching them. I've noticed there's a couple are available for free on there, but I just don't think free transfers are going to make any difference to us at this point. Surely, we're trying to do a promotion push in the Championship. Is there really going to be any decent free transfers out there? I mean, was one of them really Adebayo, who wasn't good enough for Bristol Rovers in the league below? He was here. It was Bristol Rovers. I had him last year. I remember now. He wasn't good enough for us. We released him in the summer. Stephen Kingsley wasn't good enough for Bristol Rovers in the division below. Yeah, we're not bring Matty Wolf. I think I released him as well. Had him at home last year. Released him from Barnsley in the summer. I don't know what I'm going to do. No idea. Let me know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.